Welcome back, everyone, to the Risk Intel podcast, powered by SRA Watchtower, where we share risk intelligence with experts from across the banking industry. I'm your host, Ed Vincent, CEO at SRA Watchtower. Hello, welcome to the Risk Intel podcast. I'm extremely excited to have back with me today Cathy Jackson, who is the Director of Implementations at SRA Watchtower. Cathy, thanks so much for being with us.
I'm happy to be here, Ed.
Cathy, you bring two different perspectives to the conversation today that we're going to draw upon in our discussion about hidden factories that we've been talking about for a few episodes now. Right, you've worn a hat inside a financial institution where undoubtedly, right, you've seen hidden factories there. You've also, interestingly, worn the hat of helping financial institutions implement enterprise risk management software. And as part of that process, I imagine that you've seen a few hidden factories that maybe you've helped take out along the way. So I'm excited for you to share some of your perspectives on what you've seen on either of those journeys there, on the financial institution side or on the software side.
Oh, happy to share. And it is funny because as I was thinking about talking about this, there were so many parallels with implementing ERM Watchtower, because what I saw most was, as a bank, we would adopt a new system, core system being one that everyone's familiar with, but maybe it was a new telephone system. Maybe it was the adoption of, now we're all going to go on Microsoft products. We're going to leave Slack, we're going to go to Teams, whatever it is. But what you would see is the adoption never really got you the efficiencies that you were anticipating. When you go out to the marketplace and you're looking at these systems, you're thinking of all the things that it can make us do better, faster, more efficiently, and you implement it, and what happens is people kind of layer that on to what they were already doing. And so instead of getting the efficiencies, you've got one more layer of processes on top of what was already being done. And so it never gets socialized completely. The adoption is never, full, and you don't always get those efficiencies, and you don't realize it until you're trying to do more things and you expect that, hey, this department should be able to handle that. They're not able to, because they are in fact doing more things. And so that was what I would see in the banks where I worked. And I see that also in implementing ERM Watchtower. Sometimes we just add on to what we're already doing instead of using the efficiencies that the system has, built into it.
That's a fantastic observation. It's not one, frankly, that really has come up in our prior conversations. This is I'd say, a new observation of follow through, right, and completion, right. You use the words, right, of adoption there, and the fact that this gets layered in rather than truly replacing. Yes. or optimizing, right?
Yes, that is absolutely true. It's a combination of this is the way I've always done it. And so, yes, they've said we're going to do it this way, but I'm going to still do my little piece over here. Procedures don't get updated. We don't do any follow-up post-conversion to see how it's going. We're just so happy the new system is up and running and everybody seems to be able to get back to normal. But we don't do that follow-through to see what normal now looks like. And so you really have to call out the ways that the new system makes the process better to start that adoption process. And you need to have knowledgeable people as to, this is how we used to do it. This is how we're going to do it now. And we are confident you're not going to lose any, you're not going to be blamed because you're no longer doing X, Y, Z. Everything is going to balance. It's just going to look different. And so that's that process that has to happen. Otherwise, you don't gain the efficiencies that normally you were looking for when you made that change.
Have you seen a situation where either that's a specific situation where that's either been done really well or really poorly, and you can say either, wow, that should have been done differently, or boy, they hit the nail right on the head here?
Yes. one bank where we went through a conversion. It was done very well. And it was done very well because more people were involved ahead of the conversion. It wasn't just this small group of supervisors only. The bank went out of their way to bring in people who had been doing things for a longer period of time to get their buy-in and to get their perspective. Sometimes they were like, yeah, this is a report that would be great for us to use. We don't currently get that piece of information. And so it really was about, and again, it's the same with SRA Watchtower. It is about bringing the people into the room that know the current process and then helping them understand and see the enhancements of the new process and how that is going to make their jobs easier, better. They're going to get better information. And so that is where it was most successful in the bank.
I love that specific example there of saying you use the point of people that identified a report that would make their lives different and better, right? And so those are folks that perhaps were used to doing something or manually or putting pieces together and said, all right, as part of this process, if I could swap out A for B, then this is going to really, it's going to take hold. It's going to drive adoption. It's going to allow us to not layer this, right? I love that terminology earlier, but instead to replace, to say this report will allow us to replace A, B, and C and do it instead of, rather than as well as.
Yes, absolutely. And so it's that buy-in at the level of people who are doing the work, who understand the process. And it keeps people from having to be dragged in. When you just, here's the new system, let everybody go. And then there's that resistance to change. If they've been part of that, adopting that change, that makes a big difference as well.
Cathy, you hit a number of great themes here with these examples. Any closing thoughts? Because you've really given me quite a few things here, I think, to recap and leave people with.
I think just, again, that follow-up, post anything that you do, the follow-up, the showing the real world examples and the expectations that we used to do it this way, now we're going to do it this way, calling out the ways that the new system, makes a process better, then monitor that. And then as features are added to the system, this was the other thing. Make sure they are not just broadly shared, but shared to the area that they are going to help make better. We're great about saying we got this great new feature, and the person in the corner over there who could really take advantage of it never knows the new feature is available. And so making sure that you're intentional about those things as well.
But Cathy, I'm gonna group these activities into pre and post activities, if you will. And so as part of unearthing a hidden factory and making a decision to improve upon that or change behavior, there is a bunch of upfront work to get people involved, right? To get people who are going to be the stakeholders who can really identify the pain points, get them to the table beforehand and get their buy-in. And then on the backside, making sure that you do the work to update procedures, right? Follow up with all the post-conversion work, and monitor thereafter, and share the expectations, with the folks that you expect to put this into practice. So a bit of that work up front, getting people involved, calling out the ways that you expect them to change, and then on the backside, making sure that there is follow through. So that you as you said very eloquently and simply, frankly, up front, so that you drive adoption and you don't layer this on, and instead that this is truly a replacement so that the efficiencies can be realized. Cathy, thank you for sharing the concepts as well as the specifics, and we appreciate your time here, and we look forward to having you back on a future episode as well.
Thanks, Ed.